Hi everyone, welcome to Step 4, Advanced Settings. In this lesson, you'll customize the advanced settings in your QuickBooks Online file. There are some key components to the advanced settings that are sometimes overlooked because they're misunderstood. After watching this video, you'll know how to customize the advanced settings, what to include, and why each component is so important. I created the worksheet for you like I did with the other lessons, so go ahead and download that now. Watch the video, complete your worksheet, and share your ideas in the course Facebook group. If you're following along on your own computer file right now, go ahead and make sure you have that open. From your home page, click on the gear icon located in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. This opens the menu bar, and you'll find your account and settings under the company list. Go ahead and click on that now. As in the past, it's going to open always to the company settings. So go ahead and, since we're working with Advanced today, click on the Advanced tab. Account settings have an effect on reports and help you control the changes that are made in your company file. The first month of your fiscal year in most cases is January. If you're in an industry that uses a different standard for fiscal year, or you just want your reports to default to a different time frame, you can set that here. You can change your beginning month. On the next line, you can set your income tax year. This is the year as you report it for your taxes. Your options are same as your fiscal year or January. In most cases, the first month of your income tax year will be January. You can choose your accounting method on the next line down. The difference between the accounting method, accrual, and cash, you can actually look right here. If you choose accrual, that means you're reporting income when you bill your customer. If you choose cash, it means you're recording your income when you're receiving cash. A lot of smaller businesses are on cash basis. If you have inventory or you're in retail, there's a good chance that you're accrual. If you've already filed taxes in the past, that information is on your tax form, or you can ask your accountant what they think you should be using. So you can set that there. And that also helps your reports. If you've chosen this accounting method, your reports will most likely default to the method that you're using, and they're just more accurate that way. Closing the books is an accounting term used to refer to the accounting period once it's been balanced and reconciled and you don't want any changes to be made. In QuickBooks Online, checking this box will open up a new set of options that allow you to set a closing date for your file. The date that you choose is up to you. If you have filed your taxes for 2016, for example, and you want to make sure no changes are made to that accounting period, then you'll add 12/31/16 as the closing date. On the next line, you can choose from two options: allow changes after viewing a warning, or allow changes after viewing a warning and entering a password. Choosing the second option does open the set password area here. I have known accountants in the past who have chosen $500 or $1,000 as the password here, just to remind their client how much it would cost if they made a mistake in the old file that was already closed. So it's really important that if you do need to make a change, it's something that the accountant knows, or you know for sure that it needs to be made. If you're the master admin on the file and forget your password, you can always come back in here to reset it. You don't need your password to change this portion. Once you're done here, you click Save, and that'll save your changes, although I don't want to accept that. So there we go. And then you can just move on to the next section. Company type. So in most cases, you're unsure of your company type, which I totally understand. But if you happen to know, this would be when you set up the company originally. So if you're a sole proprietor and you already know that which tax form you're using, which is the 1040, you would just use that. If you're a limited liability company, use that one. And if you're unsure, just leave it. It's not something that you need to have in your file immediately. And then click Save. The chart of accounts refers to all of your income, expense, asset, liability, and equity accounts that you use for your business. Some accountants like to use accounting numbers in addition to the account name. It just makes it a little quicker when they're doing data entry, something that was really popular when we did books by hand because you didn't have all the room to write out the name. You just had to have that one little number. Whether or not you use them is totally up to you. If you have imported a desktop version of QuickBooks into the QuickBooks Online and you were using accounting numbers, then you probably should check that box to enable it. And you just do that there. You can also choose to have the account numbers display on reports and transactions. That's what show account numbers is here. And then that's it. If you want to have your discounts added, so if you're offering discounts, it's going to default to this term here. And unless you've already had a company file set up where you used a different discount account, you don't need to change this. You just leave it that way. The same thing for the billable account expense income. You just leave that the way that it is unless you know that you already have a different account that you've been using, and then click Save. In this section, you can choose to track classes and track locations. It's really important, I think, when you're using the QuickBooks file that you're very consistent. So that means that if you're going to use this function where you're tracking classes and tracking locations, you really have to do it every time. So if you're not in an industry where it really matters how you're tracking it, it's so much easier just to leave it blank. But in the case of, like I have a sales company where they have locations, they have salespeople in Texas, in North Carolina, in California, and Arizona. So for them, we do track location, and you can decide to turn that on here. And then the nice thing is you can have it warn you if you haven't assigned a class. So that does kind of keep you on top of your toes there. And then in addition to that, you can have it you can tell it if you want to have each row in the transaction line have a different class, or if you want the entire transaction to default to having that one class. And the same thing with location here. And then you can choose the location label. So they give you a lot of options because they want you to be able to make it specific. So in the instance that I was just talking about, they call them territories. So when I put in the location, it says Texas territory. So it just gives you a little bit more fine tuning. So go ahead and click Save. This is one of my favorite sections here, automation. Automating the way that QuickBooks Online handles transactions can be a real time saver. Checking the box next to pre-fill forms. It will pre-fill it based on the last saved transaction for that client, vendor, or employee. That is awesome because sometimes, especially in my case where I'm working with a lot of different clients, I may have been years since you entered a specific payee and you don't remember if you coded it to advertising or if it was promotion, a sub account of advertising, or maybe they were office expenses or something. And so what this will do is it will pull it up for you. It'll pop into the form. And then if it's not the one that you want to use that time, you can change it, but at least it's giving you a little bit of help to move you along. And then checking this box will turn on your automatically apply credits account. And this tells QuickBooks to automatically apply credits to the next invoice you create for the same client. Most companies turn on this setting. Turning it off is a good idea if you get security deposits from people or you just want to control when your credits are being applied. I like to control things, so I usually turn that off so that I can do that manually. Checking the box next to automatically invoice unbilled activity creates invoices for clients with unbilled activity. So it actually opens this other option as well. If you decide to use this feature, checking the box lets you do three things. Automatically create invoices and don't notify me. Automatically create invoices and notify me. Or remind me to create invoices. Again, I would choose this option because I like to have my hands in the works. I want to see what was being created and make sure that it's the way that I want it to look. So I would do that. But if you don't care and you know that the information is accurate, you can just choose one of these other options. And then here you can schedule how often you want that to happen. If you're using estimates with your company, you can check this box next to copy estimates to invoices. And you really do want this feature turned on because it'll allow you just to have a better workflow. You don't have to come back in here, oh my gosh, and figure out where to turn it on. So if you think you're going to be using estimates, turn this feature on. The last feature in the automation section is automatically apply bill payments. When you add bill payments in your register, this setting automatically applies the payments to the oldest existing bill. While QuickBooks claims that most companies turn on this setting, I don't like to use it because I prefer to hand match my credits to the bill payments itself. That's because I want my records to match those of my vendor, and they don't always apply it to the oldest existing bill, which is the default for QuickBooks. So once you've made the changes that you want in here, go ahead and click Save. You can turn on project tracking to see all of your sales, expenses, and timesheets by project. This is a permanent setting, and I should warn you here. So if you don't track by project, just leave this box unchecked. Click Save. You can adjust the settings for time tracking here. If you're using timesheets in QuickBooks, it's a really great way to customize it for you. Choosing to add the service field to timesheets. Making a single time activity billable to customer. Those are the options that you have here. On timesheets, this one here, sorry. Adding the service field to the timesheet lets you specify services performed when entering timesheets. You can choose to make single time activity billable to your client when you click here. On timesheets, it adds a checkbox to specify whether activities should be billed to the client. Turning on this feature opens up the option to show your billing rate to users who are entering the time. If you bill your clients a different hourly rate than what you pay your employees and subcontractors, you may want to leave that blank because they'll have extra information you may not want them to have. Then here, just choose the day of the week that is the beginning of your work week and go ahead and save. In the currency section here, for many of you, your home currency is going to be the USD, United States dollar, which is already defaulted to. If it's not, you can choose your home currency from this list. Checking the multi-currency box lets you track transactions in foreign currencies. Use it only if you have bank accounts, customers, or vendors that do not use your home currency. And click Save. Okay, my accounting file is doing something. Let's see. Okay, we're back. I don't know why it had to do that, but all right. So here we are. So other preferences is one of the other sections that I really like a lot because it just is a time-saving feature. Here you can set the date and number formats that you like. So date here, number format. I always choose to warn if there are duplicate check numbers. Here, I already have it turned on. And then also choose if there's a duplicate bill number. It's really important that you're warned of that just in case maybe you entered it from another section and forgot. Sometimes it can be a little pain with the check number. If you have more than one account that uses similar check numbers, it will warn you, but at least it's warning you, right? So I prefer to have that turned on. And then you can also choose a customer label here. And customer labels are really good because like sometimes you'll call them customers. If you're a nonprofit, you might call them donors, guests, members, patients, tenants. I have a law firm that they like me to have it say clients rather than customers. It just makes it more personal. And then down here, you can choose to be signed out if you're inactive for a certain length of time. So I'm usually going back and forth between programs, so I like to set it for as long as it'll let me. to be open, but if you know that you might be walking away from your computer, or you're not going to be there the entire time, you can go ahead and click here for 1 hour, and then that way it'll log you out, and then you'll have to log back in. I'm going to click Save. Well, now we know how to set the company accounting settings, company tax forms, chart of account settings, automation, project tracking, time tracking, currency, and other preferences. I hope this has been helpful to you. Feel free to rewatch this as many times as you want. And the other thing that I wanted to remind you is that you can always ask a question in the course Facebook group. That's what it's for. And we are here to support you and give you feedback. So fill out your worksheets, update your advanced settings, and we'll see you in the course.